The night in Umokpara village was always quiet. Even the birds slept early. But on this night, something strange passed through the wind. It felt cold, too cold. Adaize, a young girl of just 18, walked home with a small basket of vegetables on her head. She was a calm girl, always respectful, always smiling. Many people in the village loved her, but some people, some dark people, were watching her from afar. Adaize had always felt strange these past few weeks. Each time she walked home late, she felt something following her. Sometimes she heard her name in the wind. Sometimes she saw footprints behind her own. Sometimes she felt a cold hand on her back when nobody was there. She told her mother once, but Mama said, "My child, fear can make the mind play tricks on you." But Adaize knew something was wrong. She could feel it tonight more than ever. As she walked along the narrow path leading to her mother's hut, she heard it again. Step, step, step. She stopped. Silence. Even her own shadow looked strange under the moonlight. She walked again. Step, step, step. She turned quickly. "Who is there?" she called, her voice shaking a little. Nobody answered. Only the whispering of dry leaves. Adaize breathed out slowly and tried to calm herself. "This path is only 2 minutes," she whispered. "Just reach home, just reach home." But she did not know that eyes, cold eyes, were following her from the bush. 3 pairs of eyes, 3 shadows moved quietly between the trees. They were not walking normally. They were moving like something that did not want the ground to hear them. They whispered to each other in low, frightening voices. "That is her. She is the one. She must not escape again tonight." The tallest shadow stepped closer. The shortest one sniffed the air like a wild dog. The wide one bent down as if looking for her footprints. Adaize suddenly felt something like icy fingers touching her neck. She dropped her basket. Her heart jumped. She looked around again, her hands shaking. Her breathing became fast and painful. Then she heard something that made her knees almost give way. A whistle, a strange whistle, not a human whistle, not a friendly whistle, a deep, slow calling whistle, like something trying to draw her closer. Adaize's chest tightened. Her eyes filled with tears. "No, please no," she whispered. The whistle came again, louder this time. Then a voice followed it. "Adaize." The voice was soft, too soft, like it was right beside her ear. But when she turned, nothing was there. The voice spoke again. "Adaize, stop running. We only need you to come with us." She shook her head fast. Her legs refused to move. Her teeth were shaking from fear. "No, leave me alone," she cried. Suddenly, a long stick flew out from the bush and hit the ground in front of her with a loud thump. Adaize screamed and jumped back. The shadow stepped out. The tall one whispered, "Stop running." The small one said, "You are chosen." The wide one added, "Follow us quietly." Adaize's body finally remembered how to move. She turned and ran. She ran like she had never run in her whole life. Her wrapper almost fell. Her slippers almost caught her feet. Her breath came out in short, painful gasps. Behind her, the shadows chased her. Their footsteps were fast. Their breathing sounded angry. Their whispers became louder. "Catch her. Don't let her go. She belongs to us." Adaize ran past the palm trees. She ran past the old shrine. She ran past the chief's compound. Her legs were shaking. Her tears were falling. Her heart felt like it would break. And then she saw it. The lantern outside her mother's hut. She ran with everything in her. "Mama! Mama, open the door!" She cried with all her strength. Her mother, who was about to sleep, jumped in fear and rushed to the door. Adaize burst inside and locked the door quickly. She pushed her back against it, breathing hard, crying loudly. Her mother grabbed her shoulders. "Adaize, talk to me. What happened?" "Mama, someone was following me. They wanted me to come with them. They called my name. They threw something at me. Mama, they are still outside." Her mother pulled her into a tight hug. "My child, calm down. You are safe here. Nobody will take you." But outside, the shadows were still there, standing, watching, whispering. "She escaped again. We try tomorrow. She cannot hide forever. She is ours." Then they disappeared into the darkness like smoke. Inside, Adaeze sat on the floor, hugging her knees. She did not blink. She did not close her eyes. She did not even wipe her tears. Her mother stayed beside her, rubbing her back softly. But Adaeze knew the truth. This was only the beginning. They were not tired. They were not giving up. They would return. Tonight, she had escaped. But tomorrow, nobody knew.
The night dragged slowly in Adaeze's small hut. The lantern flame shook gently, making long shadows dance on the walls. Adaeze sat on the floor, hugging her knees tightly. Her eyes stayed on the door, the same door the shadows had stood outside just moments ago. Her mother stayed beside her, rubbing her back softly, but Adaeze's body still shook. "Mama, they said they will come back tomorrow," Adaeze whispered. Her mother swallowed hard. "Yes, I heard the whispers too." Adaeze looked at her mother with wide eyes. "Mama, you heard it?" Mama nodded slowly, fear showing on her tired face. "I did, and that is why we must be wise." Adaeze had never seen her mother afraid before. Mama was a strong woman, the kind who faced storms and troubles without shaking. But tonight, her eyes were filled with worry. Adaeze leaned her head on her mother's shoulder. "Mama, why me? What do they want? I have not done anything." Her mother sighed. "I don't know, my child, but whatever it is, we must not face it alone. At sunrise, we will go to the village chief." Adaeze nodded, but she did not feel safe. The shadows had followed her for days, maybe weeks. They called her name like they knew her. They chased her like she belonged to them. Even now, as the night grew deeper, she still felt watched. Adaeze tried to sleep, but each time she closed her eyes, she heard one of their voices again. "She is ours, she is ours." Her heart would jump and she would sit up quickly. "Mama, are you awake?" she whispered again and again. "Yes, my child, I am here." They both stayed awake until the first faint light of morning touched the sky. Only then did Adaeze breathe a little easier. But her peace didn't last, because, at that moment, a strange sound echoed from the back of their hut. A soft tapping. Tap, tap, tap. Adaeze gripped her mother's wrapper tightly. "Mama, someone is behind the hut." Mama stood, trying to be brave. "Stay here." She walked quietly to the window and pushed the cloth aside. Nothing, just empty ground, morning dew, and a banana tree. But the tapping continued. Tap, tap, tap. "Mama, look again." Adaeze cried. But this time when Mama looked, she saw them. 3 long shadows on the ground, not moving, not walking, just standing still behind the hut. But the strange thing was, there were no bodies to match the shadows, only the shadows themselves, stretching long and dark across the ground. Mama gasped and shut the window. "Adaeze, we must go now, before the sun rises fully." Mama tied her wrapper tight. Adaeze quickly washed her face and wore slippers. They stepped outside together. The sun was rising slowly, but the shadows behind the hut did not disappear. They stayed on the ground as if they owned the morning. Mama whispered, "Walk fast, do not look back." Adaeze nodded. They began walking toward the village chief's compound. Other villagers were waking up, sweeping their compounds, washing their faces, feeding their goats. But Adaeze felt different. She felt like she was walking in a dream she couldn't escape. They passed the palm tree, they passed the stream, they passed the market square, and then they reached the chief's big compound. Mama knocked loudly on the wooden gate. "Chief, Chief, please open." A guard opened the gate, half sleepy. "What is happening this early morning?" "It is my daughter. Something is after her," Mama said, shaking. Even Adaeze's breathing sounded frightened. The guard looked at her and nodded. "Come inside." He led them into a waiting hut, while he ran to call the chief. Adaeze, too scared to sit, stood shaking beside her mother. The chief came out wearing a long wrapper and a heavy necklace. He looked serious, calm, and ready to listen. "Mama Adaeze," he said, "why are you here at sunrise?" Mama bowed slightly. "Chief, something is following my daughter. Last night, they chased her. They whispered her name. They said she belongs to them." Adaeze added softly, "And this morning, we saw 3 shadows behind our hut." But there were no people, only the shadows themselves. The chief's eyes narrowed. He looked at Adaeze closely. My child, have you offended anyone? No, chief. Have you touched something you should not touch? No. Have you gone anywhere strange recently? Adaeze thought hard. No, chief. The chief rubbed his chin, thinking deeply. This is not a small matter, he said finally. These are not ordinary shadows. They do not belong to people. They belong to something else. Adaeze's heart dropped. Mama, please let us go home. But the chief held up his hand. Wait, if you go home now, they will come again. They always return for what they want. Adaeze felt her legs turning weak. Chief, what do we do? The chief looked at her with serious eyes. My child, I fear that whatever is following you is not just following, it is haunting. Adaeze gasped how. Her mother covered her mouth. The chief continued, but do not be afraid. Before night falls, we will seek help. You must stay in this compound today. Do not go anywhere. You are safer here. Adaeze nodded slowly, but deep inside her, fear was growing. Because she knew one thing. If the shadows found her even here, then there was no place left to hide.
The whole night passed slowly like a sick snail. Adaeze did not sleep. Her mother did not sleep. Even the fire and the clay lamp burned quietly, as if it was also afraid of something. When the morning finally came, the sky looked strange. It was bright, but the brightness felt weak, like the sun was tired. Even the birds did not sing loudly. Adaeze sat outside the hut with her wrapper wrapped tightly around her body. She kept looking at the same bush the shadows had come from. She did not trust daylight. She knew those things could return at any time. Her mother came out with a small bowl of hot pap. My child, eat. You did not eat last night. I'm not hungry, Mama, Adaeze said softly. You must eat, her mother insisted. Adaeze took the bowl, but her hands were shaking. Her mother sat beside her, rubbing her back gently. Then, suddenly, 3 loud gongs. Kong, kong, kong. It came from the village square. Adaeze and her mother jumped in fear. What is that? Adaeze asked, her heart racing. It is the town crier, her mother whispered. Something has happened. They both stood, and like everyone else in the village, they began to walk toward the square. Women held their wrappers tightly. Men murmured among themselves. When they reached the square, the town crier stood in the middle, holding his wooden gong. His eyes looked worried, too worried. He shouted, People of Umuopara, hear me! Hear me all! Something terrible happened last night. The crowd gasped. The town crier continued. 3 hunters, the strongest hunters in this village, went to check the forest after hearing strange sounds. Adaeze froze. Her chest became tight. Her palms became cold. Where are they? She whispered. The crier shouted louder. They did not come home. The whole crowd began to talk in fear. Adaeze felt her legs shaking. She remembered the shadows chasing her. She remembered their voices. She remembered their threat. Tomorrow we try again. Was it the same things that caught the hunters? The village chief walked forward with his long staff. He raised it high. Silence, he commanded. The place became quiet immediately. We will search the forest, he said boldly. All strong men should get ready. We must find those 3 hunters. As everyone murmured again, the chief turned and looked straight at Adaeze. Her heart stopped. Why was he looking at her? He walked toward her slowly. Each step sounded louder than the last. When he reached her, he spoke quietly. Adaeze, come with me. People turned and looked. Her mother grabbed her hand in fear. Chief, please, what is it? The chief sighed deeply. There is something we must discuss. Something about your daughter. Adaeze's mouth became dry. She felt small. She felt exposed. Her heart beat like a talking drum. She followed the chief to the big hut where the elders held meetings. Inside the hut were 7 elders sitting in a circle with serious faces. The oldest elder spoke first. Adaeze, he said calmly, what chased you last night? Adaeze swallowed hard. Her voice shook. I don't know. There were shadows, 3 of them. They called my name. They wanted me to follow them. The elders looked at each other. Did you see their faces? One asked. No, she whispered. But they were fast and strong, and they whispered something. They said, I cannot escape forever. Her mother held her shoulders tightly. The elders whispered among themselves for a long time. Then the oldest elder stood up slowly. Adaeze, he said, looking into her eyes. There is something strange about this. Something old. Something that started before you were born. Adaize's eyes widened. Me? Why me? The elder nodded slowly. It is you they want, but we do not yet know why. Adaize felt tears in her eyes. What do they want from me? She cried. We will find out, the chief said. But tonight, you must not stay alone. You must stay in the chief's compound, where strong guards can protect you. Adaize shook her head quickly. No, they will still come. The chief looked at her with serious eyes. That is exactly why we want you there. If they come, we want to see what they want. We want to catch them this time. Her mother gasped. No, you want to use my daughter as bait? The chief lifted his hand. We want to protect her, and we want to protect the village. But to do that, we must understand this darkness. Adaize's whole body trembled. She knew the shadows would return. She knew they were getting stronger. She knew last night was only the beginning. And now, she was going to be at the center of the danger again. As she walked home to prepare for the night, she kept hearing the same whisper in her head. She is the one. She belongs to us. She cannot hide forever. Adaize held her chest and looked up at the sky. Tonight, they would come again. And this time, the whole village would see the truth.
That night came too fast. Adaize sat quietly inside the chief's compound. 5 strong guards held spears. 2 drummers sat near the gate, ready to beat alarm if danger came. The moon was full, but the light felt weak, like something was swallowing it. The chief placed a small clay lamp in front of Adaize. If anything comes for you, he said softly, do not run. Stay in the middle. We will protect you. Adaize nodded, but her hands would not stop shaking. The whole compound was silent. Then, a soft wind blew. It blew again and again. But this wind did not feel normal. It felt cold. It felt angry. It felt alive. The guards looked around. What is this? One whispered. Suddenly, whoosh! The lamp went off by itself. Darkness fell. Adaize gasped. Then they heard it. Step, step, step. But this time it was not quiet footsteps. The sound was loud, heavy, and bold. The shadows were no longer hiding. They were coming. A deep voice whispered from the darkness, Adaize! The guards raised their spears. Who is there? Show yourself! But the shadows only laughed. Then 3 tall, dark shapes rose from the ground like smoke turning into people. Their bodies were made of black air. Their eyes glowed red like fire under clay. Adaize screamed and fell backward. One shadow pointed at her. She is the one. Tonight she follows us. The guards attacked, spears flying through the air. Swish, swish. But the spears passed through the shadows like wind. The shadows only grew bigger, darker. The chief shouted, form a circle around her. The guards formed a ring around Adaize. She sat in the middle, crying, covering her ears. But the shadows were angry now. They moved fast, too fast. They hit one guard with a heavy wind force. Boom! He fell to the ground. Another guard tried to run, but the shadow blocked him and pushed him aside like a leaf. Adaize shouted, Please, what do you want from me? All 3 shadows stopped moving. They faced her. Then one shadow spoke, its voice deep and sad. You were born on a night of a broken oath. Your father promised us something, and he did not keep it. You are the sign of the broken promise. The chief gasped. Her mother, standing behind the gate, began to cry. Adaize shook her head. No, I don't know anything about that. We know, the shadows whispered, but we will not hurt you. Everyone froze. Adaize looked up slowly. The shadows continued. We only needed to warn the village. A broken promise brings danger, but now we have seen your heart. You are innocent. The shadows stepped back slowly. The wind calmed. Their voices softened. We will return to the dark place. Tell your people, never break a promise made in secret. And just like smoke rising into the sky, the shadows faded away. The moon brightened again. The air became warm. The village became quiet. Adaize's mother ran to her and hugged her tightly. You are safe, my child. You are safe. The chief sighed in relief. It is over, he said. The shadows have gone. Adaize looked up at the sky and breathed deeply. For the first time in days, she felt free. Moral lesson. Always keep your promises. A promise may look small, but breaking it can bring pain to you and to others. Speak the truth, keep your word,
and peace will follow you. The end.